any questions about I'm going to take a look at the upcoming week is what I always say, but then I end up talking about some of these slower moving planets. They're going to affect us for a longer period of time because they move slower, obviously. So if there's anything in like the next whenever coming up that you want me to take a look at, let me know. As you can see, the sun is right here in Sagittarius, conjunct with the galactic center. Now, I'll call this conjunct. I think there's basically like a week-long period where we have the sun's conjunction here. But this goes for everyone. And by the way, if you don't already know, if you're like new to the channel, you haven't figured it out, I do Sumerian astrology, okay, you guys? So this has nothing to do with the classical system. I know it's confusing to look at me, but I do not do Vedic astrology. So this is all Mesopotamian pre-classical astrology. So if it sounds a little bit different, that's what's going on. So in Mesopotamia, the sun was Utu or Shamash. And if you look him up, they're going to tell you he was a god of law and justice. But if you actually read his myths, he's not doing anything related to law or justice. There's like a few parts where he's judging the dead, but so does the moon, so does Nergal. Everybody judges somebody at some, at some time in history. But really what he does is he protects, he guides, he rescues people in need. So the sun is basically, the way I like to talk about it, it's how you operate as a light for others in the world, where you are a guide. And really, this is why this hangs out after you die, and people like, this is what they remember about you, your general sun sign. So here, this relates to everyone. Obviously, we're doing a general forecast. It's 8 billion people, so it's not going to be super specific. But while the sun is over here, we're tapping into this cosmic energy from the galactic center. And pretty much any ancient culture that you can think of, they all looked at this portion of the sky and they knew something significant was going on spiritually. So I like to talk about this portion of the sky as though it is a macrocosmic representation of our crown chakra, where we're kind of pulling everything in, like the mass amounts of our spiritual or cosmic information, kind of where you connect to God, your ancestors, angels, the universal consciousness. I don't care what you call it, however you're connecting to those things. So this tunes everybody's intuition into like it puts it on another level. Now, culturally, at this time in human history, in the West in particular, this is a time of merrymaking and, like getting together with family and celebrating. So we might not all be, a lot of people are just busy shopping. Here in Russia, it's crazy. You don't go to the store right now because there's a week of just nonstop shopping. Our big day's on New Year's. So that's going to be next week when we're here, but where's I going? I derailed you guys. Oh yeah. So you might not notice all of the intuition, but if you can meditate, if you can calm down, if you can just tune yourself right in, you should be getting some stellar information. Now, if I did, by the way, you guys, I did meditate today for it was one of the first times. I know it's a really big deal. I have not been meditating. I've been very busy. It was crazy for me. Now I'm dealing with my solar return because this is basically right in my wheelhouse here for my birthday. But it usually takes me a good 20 minutes to get into it, especially if it's been a while since I meditated. And I legit was just right there. So congratulations to me, but also congratulations to you guys if you can meditate during this time. So definitely do that. Okay. Now, as the sun starts to go into Sagittarius, this was Pabelsang. He was the chief ancestor. He was also synonymous with Ninurta, a god of basically being awesome at everything. Okay. And the god embodied in Saturn. So if anybody tells you Saturn's bad, it's Satan, it's, somehow like the Lord of the Rings, Sauron, or whatever goofy stuff that they're telling you, it's not true, you guys. Saturn is the planet of success, and Sagittarius is the sign of success. So anybody, while the sun's going in here, this is giving everybody the perfect opportunity, and this is the whole month, right? This is giving everyone the perfect opportunity to just master whatever it is that you're trying to tackle, all right? Be the warrior, be the adventurer, take some risks, but not crazy risks, like intelligent, responsible risks, like risk going to the gym, okay? Risk changing your diet and doing something healthy for yourself, or maybe take some risks and meditate. Jump on our, Sunday call. That would be a good risk to take too. But basically just getting stuff done during this time is going to be much easier. Again, if you're culture or your religious stuff going on, and it's like you're just partying for the next 2 weeks. Obviously, maybe not so much, but astrologically, you have this going on for you. Now, Venus is here in the fish side of Capricorn. I know we said we were talking in the chat here. Stand by, I'm roasting. Yes, that some of you have strong Capricorn. Lorna definitely has strong Capricorn. So there's a few things going on. This creature right here, this goatfish, originally was a goddess known as Tashmetu. And she was called the granter of requests or the divine doctress. And she was beseeched for healing and blessings. And she was just awesome. Okay. And some, without going into all the mythology, she and her counterpart, Bao, which was her name, they were basically synonymous, as were Pabelsang and Ninurta. They were both married. So there is a connection between these two, being like the husband and the wife figure. But she was very feminine, very loving and nurturing. She had a connection to animals. I think, was it Bao, or I think it was Tashmetu, because I get them confused too. It had some rules about if you see animals fighting on the street, like you were supposed to break it up. That's like one of her things. So, or bury one. If you see like a dead carcass, you're supposed to bury it. So lots of just love and nurturing. And if you think about it, if you live in a country where, you know, there's a lot of goats and sheep and that type of thing, we get lots of delicious, healthy foods from this animal too. And if you've ever had goats, I had dairy goats, so I can vouch for this if you just want to take my word for it. Goats are awesome. They are not stubborn. I still just to this day don't understand. They're not stubborn. Yes, they headbutt each other when they're playing, or like the little ones, or if they're protecting themselves, or obviously if it's mating season, right? That's what they do. But they're not stubborn and mean. There's none of this cold, calculating nature. It's all just love and passion. Goats in particular are also very intelligent. We get some of the intelligent stuff coming over on this side of Aquarius in particular. This is the fish side. All fish were related to Enki in both Nanshe and Anunatum. So there's kind of like overlapping meaning in the fish side of Capricorn, as well as Aquarius and Pisces. So the fish side is much more intuitive. It's also very innovative, and it's basically functioning on like another level. Okay. And you guys out there with either Aquarius, Pisces, or this part of Capricorn, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's the nice union between the left and the right brain. Now, Venus's placement here, and she's basically stationary, not exactly, but just about. Venus is the most empathic of all of the planets. I like to summarize this as kind of being the heart, and that can either be just pure bliss or pure despair, rage, you know, like the really, really intense, higher level emotions, which are not always pleasant, obviously, but here, this is a really beautiful placement of Venus. She's much softer, but she's a little bit more on the magical side here. She starts to get into like what would we call that? You know, kind of that stereotypical new agey type of vibe. You know, let's bust out our crystals and tarot cards and whatnot. Which I don't lump astrology into that category, guys, just so you know, but that's a different conversation. But this is a great time for miraculous healing, self-healing. If you got skills like Lorna, you're going to be able to heal other people that much better. But she's right in here. So definitely don't be afraid. If you are very empathic, though, this might intensify some of those empathic connections. I would say don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Just allow yourself to love and feel. Like this is a time to let these emotions come out and deal with them, as opposed to trying to suppress or control them. And I don't think you're going to have much choice in the matter anyways. Oh, let's see. Saturn's still here in Aquarius, which is, it's good. Nothing bad about it. It's just they're in Aquarius. I won't go into that. I talk about that a lot. Same thing. Jupiter still hanging out here in the Hyades. It is getting a little bit closer to the bull's jaw here, or Aldebaran, which was the crown of Anu, as they called it. And Anu was the supreme celestial deity, kind of like take a pick of a paternal creator deity, and that's basically what we're looking at. So the closer Jupiter gets here, that gives you, if you have a strong Jupiter or you're like tuned into your own personal power, this gives you, it kind of puts you into the universal or cosmic flow when you step into this role, when you allow yourself to be creative, maybe take some risks, go on adventures, be a little bit more romantic, but definitely like be more in a position of power, especially with this being a very creative portion of the sky. If you're learning anything new, or if you are literally working on some creative projects, like this is the time. Okay. What else we got? Mars still hanging out in Capricorn. It's going to be retrograde, I think, till like mid-March, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't matter. This is his portion of the sky. He's the god of the underworld, as well as war, death, and pestilence. He's not a bad god, you guys. Somebody had to be the god of those things. But he is our sensitivity planet. He is our where Venus is like higher emotion. Mars is kind of like lower day-to-day, more base emotions, pleasure, pain. Stub your toe, it hurts. Eat some ice cream, tastes delicious. More of that stuff. But it's also our sensitivity, not always in a good way. So yeah, that's good if you're like connecting to another person. You're having like, even everybody who's listening right now, or anybody who's virtually connecting with us right now, we're having some sort of interpersonal exchange, right? It's not super intense. We can all go our separate ways probably, and life will go on, but it's still there. We're still having it. And that's what's going on now. If you're very porous or energetically, this can be a really intense placement. But Mars is right at home in Cancer. This was the entrance point to the underworld, and he was the god of the underworld. So this is like him being on his throne. So on the one hand, it can make people a little bit more introverted, maybe more introspective. You want to kind of go crawl into a hole somewhere and hide a little bit. And if you're already like an overthinker, hyper analyzer, this can kick some of that into another level too. So that's not always great. But if you're real with yourself, if you know who you are, you know what you're trying to achieve in life, this is actually a really powerful placement, because it allows you to level up and go to the next place where you already like you've been planning, you have an idea of what you want to do. Like, this is going to set things in motion and allow you to actually make that stuff happen. So long as you're managing your stress, you're not like just a toxic mess in your relationship or your body or whatever. We're going to skip the moon because it's going to whip around here over the next month. And, it's just not as much fun to go through all of them because we will be here a little bit longer. Mercury is still conjunct with Antares, and also basically stationary here, hanging about. This side of Ophiuchus is very much related to healing of the emotions, or just indirect type of healing, as opposed to like hands-on massage therapy, right? This is more facilitating healing, something like Friar does with discount code Marduk50.
Yes.
This is definitely the type of thing that's going on over here on the side of the Scorpion. So this Scorpion was all about healing, as was Ophiuchus. And in some cases, this was Zababa, and that was like her husband. So this was a goddess Ashada, and it's a whole thing. I won't bore you with it. If you want that information, you can definitely find it in my 15-hour video course on ancient astrology. You're welcome to check that out. It's on my website and on my Etsy store. Okay, so where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So Mercury, very similar to the current meaning of Mercury, except that this was associated with water in the Mesopotamian system, and thus it was associated with creativity and fertility. So much more curious, more powerful, I think, than the modern interpretation of Mercury. But this placement conjunct with Antares means that somebody like Friar, who is in a position to facilitate healing indirectly, right? Like counseling, consulting, coaching, you work, even if you're working with like a company or something, even if it's just your family members, whoever, it doesn't have to be in your career, but it allows you to read your room a little bit, really tune in and listen to the needs of the people around you. Now, if the people around you are insane, that's not great, because now you're just, sucking up all of their crazy. But hopefully this is allowing you to, what do we want to say? Manage these relationships, either personally or professionally, a little bit better, and really get to the root of what they need. And maybe you get something out of it too. Should be a good learning opportunity for you. So I'll shut up now. Niki, what do you have? Do you have anything for us today?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about, a few things. I wrote down, see if I can stay organized. But, Saturn, we have had him going back and forth, retrograde and forward in Aquarius, and now he's done. Like, he's got like everything he needs. He's going to be moving into the future here. And, it's just kind of like with him going forward, it's like he's saying, hey, I know the future. I set the stage. I know the players. Here, I'm moving forward. This is what we're going to do. And with that square to Jupiter, I am seeing it as like, looking at how we can use our past beliefs, how we can use our past connections, and ideas and things that we know to build on a future foundation. Venus, and this is just, I'm just kind of going off of what I'm like seeing too out there in the public eye. Venus has really been, I think, encouraging us to review a lot of the things that have to do with our foundations. And it's been quite emotional for a lot of different people. That's why Capricorn is such an amazingly sensitive constellation. A lot of people are looking at what they value, why they love what they love, who are they loyal to, and what are they loyal to. And that could be family, that could be government systems. I mean, it's kind of across the board right now. A lot of people are doing a lot of reviewing. Let's see, what else? Like Mars, he is our little soldier, isn't he? And I don't feel like he's ever not doing anything. And I'd been thinking about him and the just a current situation. I mean, and I feel like with him moving backwards into Gemini, he's going and looking through all the intelligence. He's gathering intelligence. He's figuring out the secrets. Where is this? Where is that? How do I feel about this? Making those connections. So that when he's in Gemini and he moves forward, there can be some progress going on. With that opposition to Pluto, okay, like I've heard a lot of people say it's like a power move, it's this and that, but I have felt and seen more people feel actually pretty powerless to act on the things that they want to act on. There's a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of do I know what I know? Can I trust what I feel? Type of stuff. And I just feel like it's kind of one of those times where it's gonna, Mars is gonna dig a lot of skeletons out of the closet. Things that we're gonna have to face on a personal level and probably on a very collective level. Just my thoughts. I think that's all I really have. I mean, I probably have said this before and I've said it to death, but that's, we're restructuring, we're rebuilding, not only our own lives and the things that we have going on personally, but if you look at the country, we've got a lot of changes going on and we have a lot of, things that will be disclosed in the future. So
they need to tell us about the aliens already. The glowing jellyfish in the sky.
It's kind of a little odd.
That was obviously
we made that.
That was the flying spaghetti monster. So let's be reverent. Ramen. He boiled for your sins.
I love it. I love that every planet that has gone through the galactic center, it to me, it has really felt as if the galactic center has like renewed the energy of that planet, as if it's been born again, like a rebirth center. When it finally passed, the sun finally was like passing through, like. Because the trip through Scorpio, you guys, for me was fucking hell on Earth. Like I swear to God. And as soon as the sun like reached a certain point, like just in the galactic center, as if all of that lifted, the optimism was there, the visions of a better future, better things to come. Like it definitely, I could feel it. So. I think we'll get the same thing out of Mercury. When Mercury passes through, we're likely going to get a lot of really cool insights, a lot of really cool downloads, and a new like perspective on consciousness, basically everything.
Do you think that's when we're going to get our alien disclosure? You guys,
it's a possibility.
I'm to the point where I don't even care if they're invading. I don't think they are, but I don't care if they're invading and, gonna like totally take over the earth or something like horror movie style. I just want it to already happen. Just let's get it over with and let's move forward and quit this nonsense where we're just pretending that they're not there and we don't know what's going on. I'm just tired of it.
And that's the really scary part is that there's no reaction. They're not reacting. And that's why I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is an intelligence gathering time. Maybe we need to really like what worked in the past, what didn't work. We need to get our shit together really fast, really quick here. Cause I think it's going to get heavy, and I think it's going to freak a lot of people out. I don't think you should be freaked out, but it's going to shake it up, man. I mean, it's not going to be your typical Earth world anymore, where your biggest concern is, am I going to get to McDonald's breakfast in time? Or, you know, all that shit's going to go away, possibly.